Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the Frontline Changes report for the past 24 hours because I was burnt out and I slept a lot more. And the Ukraine war right now again has rushed to the toilet. Like it came out a bit before he reached the toilet. And this is another diarrhea day. Insanity. Can you guys look at the numbers on the black box? It's insane. I think this, by my estimate, this is more than 100 square kilometers of frontline change today. This is going to be a pretty long frontline changes report because of the insane amount of things had happened. Multiple sediments has been captured. The Russians have been raising the flag all over the place. I hope they recycle because flags are expensive, it's a couple $billion per flag. But no, I'm just joking. Anyway, let's go on to the first frontline change over in the Borova front. So at the Borova front, this is Borova. I'm going to turn off the black box just in case we need the more space. So this is Borova. At Borova-Andriivka, the Russian forces have captured this sector here. So this is captured. This is reported by the Ukrainian mapping yesterday. I have covered this during the frontline. During the situation report. Russian forces have went down the gully in this sector here, capturing all of these grounds, threatening to shut down the north of the Borova. The advance here is around 3 kilometers. The Ukrainians have lost positions here, and yeah, they will threaten to go all the way to the Oskil River, which is over here, and then that will take out this sector and bring the battle straight to Borova, which is the most important city of this particular front line. So that is Borova-Andriivka. The next frontline change is over at Novoselivka. And happy birthday to you. If your birthday today, do press the like button and subscribe. And over this sector here, this is Russian mapping. This is based on Russian claims. So around this Oskil front region, I'm going to zoom in a bit. So this is Novoselivka, Darilove, and Shandriholove, Serene, Oleksandrivka. And according to the Russian mapping, the Russians have tremendous amount of advances in this sector here. Let's include the south of Darilove. So they claim that this area is taken, and the entire western part of Serene, the entire Shandriholove is entirely secured. The entire northern outskirt of Novoselivka has been taken. The Russians have entered into the forest southwest of Oleksandrivka and bringing battle straight into Oleksandrivka. The Ukrainians have been defending here pretty strongly. So looks like the Russians are finding another way to go around this sector here. The advance on the maximum is 7 kilometers. This is super deep advance. We have no intel about this until this report from the Russian mapping. So that's that. South of Darilove, the advance here is around 700 meters to 1 kilometer. So this is a massive advance in this sector. You can see it actually absolutely changes the strategic situation. This would allow the Russians to go straight for Sviatohorsk without the need for going through Yarova, Novoselivka. Like they went around it. So Oleksandrivka will be the next on the target. So we'll talk more about it maybe in the situation report. So that's one massive frontline change in that sector already. Over in the southeast of Liman, so this is Krasny-Liman or Liman. In the southeast, there is massive update over in the Yampil region. Multiple geolocation of Russian forces in multiple positions confirm the Russians' full capture of Yampil. So this entire sector here has confirmed to be taken by Yampil. Yampil is confirmed taken by the Russian forces, entirely captured. And so this confirms our suspicion so far. Russian mapping have updated the map beyond that. They have updated to show that the Russian forces have removed this salient between Doronivka and Yampil. And over in the northeast of Borova, which is over here, Russian forces also have taken more of the forestry in the southeast of Liman. So these are all very significant frontline change. Again, this is a massive collapse of front line. So we have two major collapse So so one is already over at the Novoselivka region in the Oskil front. This is yet another one. So entire front line has collapsed in this sector as well. So this advance here at the Yampil one at maximum is around 4.8 kilometers, almost 5 kilometers. Through the forest is around 2.5 kilometers. Massive frontline changes. Like I said, because of the trend of the war, the tide of war, I know I haven't done the graph. Yeah, because I'm lazy. And but then the tide of war is there. There is a certain momentum to the war. And every time that we have days where the frontline changes is lackluster, we are going to have this kind of diarrhea of a massive frontline change that will come, because you can't run away from reality. You cannot hide the truth and hope for the better when one side of the conflict is just absolutely much weaker now than the other side. There's no balance right now in the war. Over in the south of Siversk in Siversk, geolocation of Russian forces in the north of Siversk confirmed that the Russian forces have advanced in this sector. Is it my mouse too fast? Yes, it's too fast. So the Russian forces have taken Siversk, and this is another very, very major situation change. The advance here is at least 1.3 kilometers up to 2 kilometers. So Russian forces, this is the other flank, other offensive. There's two flanks of offensive, two vectors of attack in the south of Siversk. If you have followed situation report with DPA, you would have known this for months, that the Russians have two-pronged attack. One of them was more successful, coming from Vimka. So this was the other flank. This is the other one. And so this is now looking like the Russians are having some success as well. They're going to link up with the other side and then take out this entire salient, which means yet another big frontline change is going to come very, very soon. So yeah, so watch the situation report. Don't be lazy. Like, I mean, you need to watch it so that I can earn advertising money. That's how I get funded. totally nothing to hide. I don't have to be like pretending no, it's okay to don't watch. No, it's okay. Like, you just need some support. No, you must watch, then I have money. If not, just support me on Patreon. Over in the south of Konstyantynivka, so this is Konstyantynivka front. Another this is at Ivanopilia. So this settlement here, this is Ivanopilia, and actually the Russian side has claimed that it is captured. However, based on the geolocation, we still have the south of this sector here is not accounted for. But based on this, so let me get the right zoom. So sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I'm trying to unselect certain things. So the Russian forces basically have captured all of these areas here, confirmed through multiple geolocations, 1, 2, 3, and 4 around this. So yeah, that one was a bit long, very ugly. We strive for beauty, Anyway, so the Russian forces confirmed to have captured Ivanopilia, and actually I have warned that this is most likely going to be the case. The Ukrainians will not be able to hold the line because the Russian attack come from the north, and basically have a foothold in the northeast, which means the entire this town is like as good as gone. And yeah, and then we're exactly seeing this happening. We just this southern part, and just be a bit more conservative. I wanted to wait for the Ukrainians to give up on that, or we have geolocation to confirm it. The advance here, north to south, this is 2.4 kilometers long in terms of the confirmed captured regions. So Ivanopilia is falling, if not has already fallen, which means Plishevka is going to be gone soon, because we're just waiting for this part, and then Plishevka is going to be gone. The Russians is going to storm all the way to the coast here of the Klabambik reservoir, and then we're going to have another big massive collapse, and the Russians are going to create the southern wall. This entire thing is going to collapse. The battle will go to Berestov, and then we're going to see huge frontline changes and entire change of strategy situation. If you want to follow the strategy situation, again, I have to emphasize, watch the situation report. It is a longer video, like it ranges around 20 to 30 minutes, but because the war is big, you cannot blame me. I know a lot of people keep blaming me for the video to be very long, but if the war is big, the war is big. You can't force me to water down even further when it's already a pretty watered down report. So that's the frontline change over in the Konstyantynivka front. over in then after Konstyantynivka front, we go to this northern flank of the Pokrovsk front. So this is Pokrovsk, this is Dipropilia. In the northern flank here along the chain of settlements here ranging all the way from Mayak all the way to Toretsky, in fact even more, but Ukrainian mapping have updated the map in this sector here. So this I wonder if I should zoom in or not. So I think I can zoom in a bit, maybe not. Okay, never mind. This sector here in the southwest of Sofievka has been considered by the Ukrainian mapping to be taken by the Russian forces, which means we are corroborating Russian claims. The Ukrainian mapping, after claiming they have so much success or capture so much grounds. If you look at the Russian mapping of the version of the event, this is the Russian mapping. Basically, the Ukrainians are just conceding back to reality. That seems to be the case. But we shall see how this goes. If you look purely from Russian mapping perspective, there's basically almost no change on the map. It's all Ukrainian mapping. Volodymyrivka is the same thing. The Ukrainians now considering that the Volodymyrivka is falling back into Russian control. And so this is the current situation in this sector. The advance of Sofievka is around 1.3 kilometers. Over at Volodymyrivka, we are talking about a distant frontline change of around 500 meters. So that is the frontline changes in this sector of the Pokrovsk front. And then we go straight to the Pokrovsk region itself. So over in Pokrovsk itself, so this is Pokrovsk city, this is Minokhrad. In the Pokrovsk region, Ukrainian mapping have updated the map to show that they have lost the entire southern part and the central part of Pokrovsk. So all of this sector here, according to Ukrainian mapping, is now entirely under Russian control. So these are all gone. Although according to the Russian mapping is much further. Russian mapping have come to this point already. So we like in the perspective from a Russian perspective, Pokrovsk is almost as good as gone. We only left like this bit and this bit of Pokrovsk left that is not captured, and maybe here. So these are the little bit here based on DPA's mapping. If you follow other mappers, especially pro-Russian ones, don't compare, because we are not the same. No, I'm neutral. I do not hope. No, I do. I have to have hope. I don't care. I don't take hopium or copium for the Russians. No, they claim that 99% of Pokrovsk has been taken a week ago. Yeah, I'm just saying, if you like to be lied to, if you like misinformation, you can continue to follow them. It's perfectly fine. Or you can just follow DPA as a check and balance on those people. Don't use those people to check and balance me, which makes zero sense, because none of the information I made it up. Every information I have is sourced. So if you use those pro-Russian ones to say no, I'm wrong, then something is wrong with you, because you are taking a biased source to fact check a neutral source. So that is nonsensical. Don't do that. It's bad for health. Because I'm going to give you emotional damage. Over in Rivne, the Russian forces has been geolocated in the southeast of Rivne. This is a major development, because this means that the Russian forces is bypassing Rivne, because the Ukrainians is clearly going to defend this area very strongly, because I did mention that this is a very important point. The Russians ignore them and they're going straight for Minokhrad and going to start a third flank or a third offensive, a third front in Minokhrad on the western part of Minokhrad. And in fact, the Russian Defense Ministry did already mention that this is the case. They did say that the fighting is now on 3 different sides, over the south, the east, and the west. So the Russians are already attacking Minokhrad from the Pokrovsk direction. This advance here is around 1 kilometer. So very, very significant development in the Pokrovsk Minokhrad region. Maybe I should do another battlefield analysis on this sector, because I think things have changed quite significantly since the last battlefield analysis. I'll think about it later, after I post this up and then eat my dinner. But yeah, I'll think about it. So anyway, that's all from the battle for Pokrovsk. Very, very serious situations is developing around here. And to note, this is all the latest frontline changes as per this recording. After the Pokrovsk, the next frontline change is over in Vasily. So Radisn, over in the southern flank of the Komar front or Hulyaipole sector, or north of Hulyaipole sector. This is yet another crazy frontline change. Radisn. So this here, Russian forces geolocated inside of it. It's insane how this happened. Like if you believe in the Russian perspective of things, then it makes sense because the Russians' front line is here. So this attack would make a lot of sense. If you based on Ukrainian mapping, which is over here, then it makes zero sense how the Russians appear in the middle of nowhere. So I believe we are corroborating a lot of the Russian claims in this mapping. I can't even zoom in properly. No, this is so big. Okay, so this geolocation of Russian forces in 3 different positions in the northern part of Radisn, confirming that the Russians have advanced. This is a very simple triangle that we are drawing to mark the front line, and this corroborates a huge chunk of the Russian claims in the west of Previlia, Yehorivka, and all these things. So Russian forces have advanced greatly in this sector here, and overrunning all of these farmlands which the Ukrainians have abandoned. Of course, the Ukrainians did not agree to this. They're still talking about fighting at Yehorivka, Kiprishny, Previlia, and other chain of settlements east of this position. But clearly, the geolocation is saying things otherwise, as battle is now at Radisn. The frontline movement, this change at maximum is 9 kilometers. If we believe in the Ukrainian mapping, this is a 9 kilometer frontline change. If it's just the Russian, it's 5 kilometers. So the still huge. It's still a huge frontline change. Ukrainians are still talking about fighting at Previlia, Zahoda, Krasnohorsky, Ribne, sometimes even Vishneve, Yehorivka, but the reality is that the Russians is now here. So take it for what is worth. That is the situation in this sector here. So after this frontline change, this massive piece of frontline change, which is 25.8 square kilometers on its own, that is more than what the Ukrainians captured in a whole month. We go to the Hulyaipole sector. So in yesterday's frontline changes report, I did mention that with this push here and this geolocation here, clearly this become an impossible salient. It is impossible that this is going to still be under Ukrainian control, and Ukrainian mapping very wisely has decided to declare that this is under Russian control. Vasily itself is confirmed by geolocation, the capture of Vasily. So I'm gonna zoom in. Russian forces is geolocated in 2 different positions, confirming the capture of Vasily. So this is very confirmed with the geolocation. And then with a previous geolocation here and the Ukrainian mapping drawing this this polygonal snake around here. Clearly this means that this entire area can't possibly be Russian control. Ukrainian mapping promptly decided to, maybe they watched DPA, I don't know. No, they decided that no, okay, so this is have to be under Russian control, and they map it out. Because if they don't, you know what I'm going to do to them. I'm going to ridicule them more and more. I will continue to ridicule them until they decided that no, yeah, they cannot hold up this lie. And the thing is, it's very difficult to hold this line because we have previous geolocation of Russians here, and they themselves draw this snake over here. So, and then Vasily is gone. So why the hell you want to hold up this, the mapping, this mapping change? But this is very painful for the Ukrainian side to admit, because this is a massive frontline change. We're talking about diagonally up to 6.27 square kilometers of 6.27 kilometers distance of frontline change. Very huge frontline change. This piece alone is 16.7 square kilometers. Another big piece, and another big piece is going to come when Russians enter Zelene High and Vysoke, and clearly the Russians is going to do a pincer around here to create the eastern wall on Hulyaipole eventually. So watch the sit rep, as I will explain all of this strategic situation. I just want to share a bit more because a lot of you guys may only watch frontline changes. You're not aware of the macro strategic situation. So I add a bit here just to let you know what the hell are you watching? Because these are all significant things that is happening. Sit rep is super important to watch if you really want to follow the war, because the sit rep is probably more important than the Frontline Changes report, to be honest. So, but yeah, but people prefer to eat junk food. No, so now this is junk food. Eat. Okay, so remember to pay by pressing the like button. You eat junk food from the DPA fast food restaurant, but you still have to pay for it. No, it's not free. No, I'm not into those welfare state. So now Stepnohurst. This is the Kayamsky sector of the Zaporizhia front. Zaporizhia is here. This is Zaporizhia. So over in Stepnohurst, Ukrainian mapping have updated this interesting mapping to show that a portion of this high-rise zone is returned back into Russian control. So that's all. Not a lot to talk about. This is just around 200 plus meters of advance. So that's all for the Frontline Changes over the past 24 plus hours. So we're going to let's choose one place for our background. Let's use this then. I think this closure of the impossible salient is pretty nice, because it's pretty very typical DPA stuff. Impossible salient is impossible. And I think this is also getting like a bit more well known. This concept of impossible salience becoming impossible. The last time that is something that went rather taken used by the whole Ukraine war monitoring community was the concept of citadel. I was the first one to say no, this is the citadel of Bakhmut. And then suddenly we start to see everybody's using the word citadel. Yeah, that's very interesting to me. Now, so it does shows that DPA does have some presence and influence in the Ukraine war reporting world, which is pretty nice for some random guy sitting in the studies in Singapore, half a world away from the Ukraine war. So anyway, yesterday the Russians captured 40.47. Clearly, we are already way past it. Ukrainians captured 0 after yesterday's 9.49 square kilometers claim. So it's going to be 5.11 plus 30.68 plus 24.42 plus 1.56 plus 5.66 plus 43.17 plus 0.13. Total area captured by the Russian forces is a whopping 110.73 square kilometers. Massive frontline change in the past 24 hours. So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the situation report. Watch it. Bye, guys.